everyone, and welcome back to the Strike and Ellicott Files, an unofficial podcast dedicated to all things Strike and Robin, as written by Robert Galbraith, aka the endlessly talented J.K. Rowling. My name is Kenz.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Bulls.
And today we'll be continuing our reread of The Hallmarked Man, covering chapters 43 and 44, which takes us from Robin thinking about Strike's Christmas gift through Strike FaceTiming Rupert's flatmate, Zach. Please be aware, as always, that our discussion of The Hallmarked Man will often reference the ending of this book as well as the previous books in the series. But before we get into any of that, literally any of that, we have so much Sleep Tight Evangeline news. I feel like we're
so
up
much.
to our ears.
Oh my God. It's so exciting.
I love to be up to my ears in Strike news.
Yeah. And here I was thinking, oh, we might get a header or two. Like back in April, I was thinking we would be lucky if we get a couple of headers between now and like Christmas.
She loves
Well
it.
fed.
She loves it too.
Yes.
And we love her for it.
Starting off with our earliest updates, on the 9th of June, Ira on Twitter asked Joe, any news for my favorite detective pair? To which Joe responded, yes, they're currently in Strike's BMW heading for a pub.
Why does this freak me out so much? I'm just like so excited about this.
I love it.
Love it. Enforced proximity. I just love it so much.
Know.
I hope that there's some electric touches and not some horrible arguments.
I know.
If they have to argue, at least let them shout honesty at each other.
Right.
Please.
To argue about. I would love some of those.
I think I think we got through.
Yeah. The worst of it. I think so too,
Yeah.
honestly.
The main question I think that is on everybody's mind is, what is their dynamic like right now? If they're sitting in the car together, going to a pub.
Butterflies,
What's
flirty,
going on?
open pursuit.
Yes.
It's what we all want to know. What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
I think it did reassure a lot of people, though, at least that things are okay.
Yeah, like they're together.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff.
Yeah. And we know, since he is in open pursuit, he's not backing out and pretending it didn't happen, or that he's not really in love. It's just out there. It's happening.
It's happening.
We are all that part of The Office.
It's
happening.
It's happening. That GIF gets so much use from me.
I know.
gotta tell you. My interest was piqued by the fact that they're in Strike's BMW. Because first of all, it means they're not like in the middle of London. It means they're somewhere they drive to rather than like in the city where they take the tube.
Okay.
They're not just meeting at the pub to debrief or whatever. They're spending time together
They've gone
in the
somewhere.
car. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're
But not
going
somewhere far enough that they've needed to take the Land Rover.
Yeah. Well, why aren't they in the Land Rover? Yeah.
Sometimes they take his BMW.
Yeah,
they took
they
it to when they found Morehouse.
Yeah, they did. I kind of feel like if they're at an out of town interview, I bet Strike has picked out a pub that Robin will like ahead of time on Google.
Oh my gosh.
He's
It's so
done
cute.
that a couple times. I think he's going to keep doing
She's
that.
done it too. It's so cute.
And he's not going to pretend like, oh yeah, I asked her just now for recommendations like he did with Nick.
Oh, no,
He's going to be
he's
like,
gonna
I
tell-
looked this up. I thought it might be nice.
Oh, yeah. I think the most fun part is that she knows exactly what this information gives us and exactly what it doesn't. It's the perfect little teaser.
She's so careful with her words.
Oh.
Like she picks them deliberately. You know, she wants us to know just these facts.
Mhm.
Tantalize us with the rest of them.
Oh, she tantalizes.
I'm so tantalized.
I'm very tantalized.
Yes.
We're all tantalized.
Very tantalized.
What was the next clue that we got, Ken's?
On the 14th of June, we have the first of two new Twitter headers.
This one's exciting. I liked this one.
It is. So this one is a statue of Robert Reichs, who is often regarded as the father of Sunday schools, located in the Victoria Embankment Gardens in London. To me, this feels like both a connection to children as well as the church-related stuff like that psalm charm on the charm bracelet header. Lindsay, I'm starting to feel like your psalm epigraph theory might pan out.
That was my first thought too. I'm still holding out hope for that because I would love them as epigraphs. But the more I've read about him, the more my focus has shifted a little bit. So he inherited a publishing house from his father, which already puts the press in mind for me. It was a newspaper, but he eventually moved the business and it became a schoolhouse for boys. And I'm going to quote, in the slums. It says he was very interested in prison reform, and he believed that prevention was preferable to rehabilitation and that education was the best way to achieve that. But these are boys who were working during the week. So he started these schools on Sundays and taught them to read using the Bible. So all of this is super interesting to me. I don't have any frame of reference for Sunday school being anything other than just where kids go at church. So I didn't know it was a whole institution like this. That's completely besides the point, though. The big thing for me is that all of this immediately reminded me of Brandfoot.
Oh.
So he's someone who's heavily involved with the press. And from the chapters we're doing today, I think, it talks about how he has an interest in young troubled men.
Yeah.
From everything that I've read, it seems like Robert Raikes was a good guy. One thing said that he had a lot of integrity and a good reputation, but there are a lot of similarities in what Brandfoot is pretending to care about.
Yeah. Yes.
We know he's interested in young men because he's grooming them and using them for his own desires, but it is a really interesting connection. The thing that I'm hung up on is that we've never had a character from a case come back like that because, as we know, she keeps the cases pretty separate. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. I guess if someone read book 9 before the Hallmarked Man, which would be crazy, then it would spoil.
Absolutely insane.
It would spoil that the body in the vault isn't Danny DeLion and Brandfoot wasn't involved. But I don't know. I think we're leaning towards there being children involved because of the dolls and the treehouse. I wouldn't be surprised if there were things about Brandfoot that Strike and Robin haven't discovered yet, or maybe he leads into something else.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
like the parallels between them with like Raikes being the actual decent version of what Brandfoot's pretending to be are interesting. I'm kind of on the same fence as you in that Brandfoot was a serious suspect for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she'd spoil the outcome by having him show up again.
I don't think so.
Also, he was pretty much demolished by Danny selling his story and like the porn flat hitting the news.
But they could use his story and not really name him, kind of.
Yeah,
she could do it to lead into something. She could use
it as an intro. Yeah.
Yeah. And it could be something that was setting up.
That makes sense.
Aside from that, the theory that came to mind when I was reading about Robert Raikes is that there's some sort of serial child kidnapper or killer that he's forcing these kids to read and write from the Psalms.
Sounds like a Criminal Minds plot. The serial killers always did really weird stuff, and it was always like a very direct one-to-one with something messed up from their childhood.
I don't think we're looking at any kind of cult-like religious institution because obviously we've done that already, but there are so many clues that point to some sort of religious aspect. So I think it could be a villain with a hyperfixation, which would be really creepy. Could be really creepy.
Jo can do creepy.
She can. And that devil box thing, I just feel like,
oh yeah, the Jack.
I don't know, a killer or kidnapper that has some sort of like religious fixation could go really dark. One of you mentioned quite a while ago that there was a theory on Hogwarts Professor that talked about Strike potentially being more open to belief in God or some sort of spiritual belief. Full disclosure, I have not read it, so I don't know what it says. And I know you probably will both not be a fan of this, but I have similar suspicions. There have been a lot of things along the way that kind of have stuck out to me that makes me interested in that aspect. I know that I've always said I don't think that it's going to be a major part of the series in the way that it was in Harry Potter, and I still believe that. I don't think it's going to be a huge thing, but there are some religious clues that are really interesting to me, so I'm excited to see what happens.
We've talked about before about when Strike and Robin get married and where they're going to get married, and
we've mentioned it a couple times.
Mentioned it a few times, right?
Yeah.
But I've come around to the idea of them having a small church wedding and not just going like to the
St. Giles in the Fields.
Yes,
because I've been on that for a long time. Yes.
I thought that you were in the registrar's office.
Oh, both. I can simultaneously want both at different times of the day. All right, Kens. I go back and forth.
You contain multitudes. I understand.
We know that Jo visited there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that she was doing research. She could have just wanted to go.
And then they could walk to the Flying Horse for their little wedding reception at the pub.
It
would be perfect.
It's their spot.
I was going to read this text that I sent Lindsay because it sent her spiraling into emotions.
Gosh, I don't even remember.
You said I have to go die now. Bye. So it must have been pretty good.
Yeah.
That sounds like me.
Yeah.
It does.
After reading about Strike associating the church with Ted and Joan and running grave, and that thought in Hallmarked Man about how Ted and Joan both liked and loved each other, it just seems like he would appreciate the emotional gravity that getting married in a church would provide. Vowing before a small group of their friends, family, and before God to love and protect Robin for the rest of their lives seems like it would appeal on a number of levels, especially since he makes so few vows.
I do have to go die again. Yeah.
And St. Giles in the Fields is very pretty inside.
I
Mhm.
bet.
I've looked up pictures of it. It's quite pretty.
It would be perfect for them. It's Denmark straight.
It's crazy that it's never been mentioned in the books.
I
It's
know.
right there.
You know what's funny is there's that walking tour thing that Robert
Yeah.
Glenister did the voiceover for, and it mentions St. Giles.
It does,
Does
yeah.
it?
Because they played it. They played a clip of it
Uh-huh.
on
Oh my
Instagram last week or something,
Mhm.
and I listened to it.
It's very good.
Super cool that they did that. Yeah.
Got to mention it eventually.
Yeah, it almost feels ominous in the fact that it's never been mentioned. Like she's saving it for something.
For something big.
Hey, by the way, there's a church right there. You want to marry me in it?
I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with the statue when she first changed her header, but
Yeah,
ultimately I
same.
ended up that I'm just leaning towards it being a place that Robin or Strike or both of them walk through or meet someone at, and that maybe the statue gets a little mention, right? Like it could be
Yeah.
that the Sunday school thing is relevant to the plot somehow, and then one of them's like, "Oh, hey, that's a coincidence, that statue." Kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I think so
Mhm.
too.
I was thinking maybe Strike suggests a bit of a detour on their way to somewhere they're
Take a
going
nice
so that
little
they can
walk.
walk through the gardens because it's prettier, and he's like trying to encourage a romantic air.
Yes,
Part of his
yes.
open pursuit.
I love that. Kind of reminds me of when Robin is walking through the church
Yeah.
cemetery in Lethal White, where she's chasing her happiness like a butterfly.
And it's right after her therapist's appointment.
Oh, I wonder if her therapist's office could be around there.
All right, what's the next header?
So we got another header
Oh
on
my
the
God.
20th of June. Yeah, it's about a month ago from when we're recording this show. And it is a picture of Freud's desk, Sigmund Freud from the Freud Museum in London.
The thing I love about this is that someone thanked her for the new header. And she said that she was going to update it soon because she found a better one. So we got the first one on the 14th. This was on the 20th. So 6 days later.
Yeah.
I'll never get over what a unique experience it is that we have and where we're able to interact with her. And I love that she's excited about it too. She's like, no, I found a better one. I'm going to change it, and that she tells us that. It's just, it's so fun.
It is.
I do have some beef because on that day when she said soon, I was right there.
You were right there.
I spent all day refreshing Twitter. All day.
I know.
It took ages. It was like the next day. Joe, you can't ruin my productivity like this. We have different ideas about soon.
Very.
That was funny.
That was a lot of delayed gratification.
All day I was just refreshing Twitter.
Maybe she said it and then forgot. I can't relate.
Or got like busy or like was cropping the picture or I don't know what. But it was very cool when we did get it.
Yeah. I feel like this is your area, Ken's.
Yes, it is. I am the psych major out of the three of us.
What? Did I know that?
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
did.
you did. But it's okay. I've only mentioned it a couple of times.
I mean, I remembered Ken's.
I appreciate that.
Okay, super brain.
Look at you remembering stuff. We can't all remember stuff, Lindsay.
Yeah, we can't all remember stuff all the time.
I mean, look, I have a pretty good memory unless it's why I went into the kitchen,
Yeah.
Then I have to retrace my steps.
Why did I just open this tab?
Yeah, what did I do?
have no idea.
So I feel like we should probably do like a little small intro on Freud.
Oh.
I feel like anybody who's taken an intro psych class is probably familiar with the basics, but
I took an abnormal psych class.
Those are fun.
Obviously.
Yeah. So Freud was an Austrian neurologist who lived from 1856 to 1939 and is regarded as the father of psychoanalysis. Some of his greatest hits include things like the Oedipus complex. Greatest hits include things like the Oedipus complex, penis envy, both of which have obviously gone the way of the dodo because seriously, Freud, what the fuck? But also, there's also things we talk about today, like repression, defense mechanisms, though he wrote about this after his daughter Anna did. She came up with the different kinds of defense.
The work.
Yeah. And then he wrote about it later and then got all the credit.
I'd be so mad.
Just the way it goes.
But also dream interpretations.
Ooh.
Okay, now this is fun.
Yeah, we've taken a stab at doing this on the show before, but seeing this header and knowing that Freud was into dreams and their meaning, my new pet theory is that the part epigraphs are going to be from Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams.
Ooh.
That's a good idea, Ken's. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm
Ooh.
getting very similar vibes from this header that I did from the Freemason header.
I could totally get on board with that. And it fits like the sleep tight part of the title.
Exactly.
Robin was having some nightmares, right? In the last book.
She was.
Mhm.
I
You
like
could do
that.
some free association.
Oh, I'd love to see Robin do some free association.
Right?
Love to see what pops out of her mouth.
I really like this idea, Kens. I think that it could be really helpful for Robin too.
And plus sleep is also tied to memory and perception and all those things. And all of those could tie really well into like the case as well. Let's get into what's on his desk though,
Oh
because
God.
there's a lot.
I could never work in this environment, by the way. It's way too cluttered.
The dusting on that must be
Oh
so
God, I
annoying.
know.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That's a man who didn't have to dust his own desk. I'll tell you that.
There's actually an article on the Freud Museum's website that's all about the stuff on his desk. And it
Okay.
says, inanimate and silent, the rows of statuettes were Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and Chinese, and gazed upon him from centuries and millennia past. Many of these characters from antiquity appear in Freud's theories: Athena, Oedipus, Eros, Venus. They inspired him in his exploration of psychoanalytic theories and in his writing process. Some objects on the desk relate to the act of writing itself. A jade scholar screen designed to inspire calm in the scholar, the baboon Thoth, lunar god and patron of all things intellectual, particularly writing, and Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, balancing sound intellect and decisive action.
I just had a thought that we've had Greek and Roman. I mean, those are kind of the same thing because you get the same people, right? Just different names. And then we've had Chinese with the running grave.
Oh, yeah.
We have not had Egyptian influence. It kind of reminds me of the staircase at when Robin's trying to find
at Herod's.
Yeah.
She's trying to find Albie.
That is Egyptian inspired. And also a big alchemy thing.
Something that immediately leapt out to me upon reading this was the mention of Eros and Venus, or Cupid and Aphrodite, but they have a connection to the Eros and Psyche myth that we know is referenced in Sleep Tight Evangeline.
So correct me if I'm wrong, or should I say if my Google searches are wrong, but Freud connected Eros with life instincts like sexual instincts, the drive to live, hunger, thirst. Right? It could be interesting, especially
we got some thirst.
Sexual. We got lots of thirst.
We got lots of thirst
up in here.
I have to say, though, the statue on the far right is super creepy.
That is literally the first thing I saw. And I'm like, what in the actual fuck is going on there?
People who haven't seen it, Kens, please describe it.
Well, I'll say after looking at it, I can already see the descriptions of it being a bizarre many-breasted statue.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's got a head and then
head
legs,
of a child.
Right?
Breasts.
And then they've got literally nothing but breasts
Boobs
over
everywhere.
their entire abdomen, all around.
Somebody said, "What is this?" And I said, "That is an opportunity for Strike to say something hilarious." That's what
it
that
is. It is. I'm already thinking that Strike's going to have some very, very funny internal quips about it. Hopefully external too.
Yeah.
I can see him describing it as, the statue of many tits.
It's funny that you said that because I was going to call it the statue of many boobs.
The interesting thing about this particular statue was apparently this statue was not there in 2017, but was there in an exhibit in the recent past, like as in our time.
Yes.
Not book time.
Yeah.
One of our listeners pointed out a connection to Artemis because the statue is very similar to I believe it's the Farnese Artemis or the Artemis of Ephesus, which I'll link in the show notes. The traditional interpretation is that they represent multiple breasts symbolizing her fertility. This interpretation began in late antiquity and resulted in designations of the Ephesian goddess as Diana, Ephesia, Multimammia, and other related descriptions.
Multimammal.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, maybe it's a pointer to the continuation of the children's storyline.
It might be a stretch, but we'll see where it goes.
We'll see. The main question is, does the appearance of this Artemis-esque figure mean the appearance of Robin as the protector of women and girls that we saw in Running Grave? Because I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
If there are kidnapped children, I feel like it's almost a guarantee.
It's a given.
Although I would love, and I bet Robin would love to see Strike get really emotionally invested in that, because I think that might be a little bit of a conclusion to her thinking that he didn't care about the Ross children. You know what I mean?
It could be a good connection to Career of Evil too, if they reversed it.
Yeah. I think that would just make Robin just swoon so hard to see him really be emotionally invested in children.
El Shaddai, I think is how you pronounce that, is the name of the statue.
It's disturbing to me because the head of the statue is a child's head and face.
Yeah.
And it's a body of boobs.
Yeah.
So this picture of Freud's desk, do we know if this is a stock photo, if it's out in the wild somewhere, or if this is maybe a picture that Jo took herself on a visit?
So I don't think anyone's found the exact picture on the internet, but we have found out that Freud's desk doesn't usually look like this.
Okay.
So as Ken's mentioned,
Tell me more, tell me more.
this picture is taken during a special exhibit where the artist, whose name is Kathy Pilkington, rearranged a lot of stuff to make some kind of artistic point. So she is the one responsible for the multi-boob statue. For one, I wanted to talk about this exhibition because I think Jo chose to use a picture from it for a reason when it's not possible for it to appear in the book this way, unless like she took a big license with it. So the exhibit ran from the end of October 2025 to the beginning of March 2026. So we can assume that Jo visited the museum during this time to do research and took the picture then, I'm guessing. Yeah. And she used the picture because she could have just used a stock photo of his desk.
Yeah.
We're going to find it instantly no matter what. So she wanted this picture to be it. Yeah. So the conceit of this exhibit is that Pilkington, the artist, is channeling Freud's housekeeper, Paula Fischel, who was the one responsible for caring of all of Freud's antiquities. So the artist imagined Paula being playful and moving things around and inserting her own statues to make some kind of point about women's labor and creativity. But I think it's important because the obvious takeaway from Freud's desk is that Freud himself is relevant, which he could be. I love the interpretation of dreams epigraph idea. I think that there's actually also a possibility that it's his daughter, Anna Freud, who shows up in the text as more relevant, because I have some reasons for thinking this. My first reasoning is that Freud actually only lived in this house and used this office for like a year or two before he died, like a year, because they fled Vienna in 1938 and he died in 1939. He had horrible jaw cancer. Anna lived in the house for the rest of her life, which was like 40 years until she died in 1982. But she was the one who kept his office exactly as it was the whole time. She preserved this office like it was for 40 years. And then her wishes after her death were that it be turned into a museum. So she is the whole reason we can see this desk or any of his things.
Yeah.
So I feel like using a picture from the housekeeper exhibit, it's like a little hint that it's actually about the woman we don't see beside or behind the man.
I love that idea.
That was the idea of the exhibit, and that's Anna.
Yeah.
Another reason I think it could be Anna is because she was the founder of analytical child psychology. Basically, she was the specialist. And since we've seen hints about kids, it seemed to me that the child psychologist might pop up. There's a blue plaque with her name on it at that museum, which calls her the pioneer of child psychoanalysis. So Shrek and Robin could see that too.
Yes, Pools, this is great. Yeah.
There's some parts of her work I think might show up in Sleep Tight.
Okay.
So Ken's mentioned this earlier, but she wrote a whole book about defense mechanisms.
Okay. I love this.
And there are many kinds.
Denial, projection. Robin Ellicott, are you listening to me?
Yes.
It's time to start dealing with some of those.
Yeah.
She also emphasized that for very young children, the focus should be on creating a healthy and nurturing environment, not on doing talk therapy, which feels like Jo does a lot with the theme of how people's childhoods shape who they are as adults.
Totally.
But also her therapy, she let the kids move freely during their sessions, and she provided toys, games, and dolls to them. She thought that a child playing with dolls was a meaningful form of expression that could reveal the child's feelings and thoughts. So the doll header, combined with we know Robin's in therapy, combined with the little clues, remember Annabelle playing with the doll that fell out of the treehouse. What if we saw a kid who was in therapy get kidnapped, right? Or maybe the child reveals something really disturbing during their therapy and then is killed?
Yeah. I'd hate to see a child killed.
Yeah.
But I think the only time we've had it was when it was Dayu, right? And it was an old murder, so it didn't feel as...
Yeah, but if she's saving the very worst stuff to hit us in the gut with at the end of the series with.
If Lada's going to be the last case, then this is the last regular case they're going to take. So might as well go out with a bang.
And after all of the stuff with kids last book.
Yeah.
And then there was one other little thing that I thought might be foreshadowing. So Anna, she was taken by the Gestapo for interrogation after the Nazis invaded Austria. Like she had prepared a suicide pill that she had with her in case she was tortured, but they returned home. They only had her for 12 hours and they returned her home. And that was what convinced Freud that they had to flee Vienna. They left as soon as they could after that. But we were talking about that play Sasha was acting in about the doctor who escaped from the concentration camps. Anna was a child psychologist who managed to get through the Gestapo and escape Vienna. Kind of wondering if it's a little hint about them or Anna featuring in Sleep Tight Evangeline.
I feel convinced.
You feel convinced? I was convincing?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I wanted to bring up something that someone over on Reddit sent to me, and special thanks to the Giraffe 7. On the night Robin walked to the Ritz, April 7th, 2017, she would have passed a Kathy Pilkington exhibit at the Royal Academy of the Arts called Anatomy of a Doll, which ran from April 1st to April 14th. In the Annenberg courtyard of the Royal Academy is a statue of Joshua Reynolds, the founder of the Academy. Robin would directly pass this courtyard while walking down Piccadilly on the way to the Ritz. If she went into the Academy, she'd walk right past it. Reynolds has a painting called Cupid and Psyche. It's housed in the Courtauld Gallery, a short walk down the Victoria Embankment from the Rake statue. I think the Royal Academy and the Courtauld are two locations with Cupid and Psyche artwork in London not visited by Strike or Robin. They have visited the Tate Britain, the National Gallery, and the Victoria and Albert Museum.
They should go to an art gallery museum as a date.
I think that there's a Fauvist art exhibition
Robin
sometime.
loves Fauvist art.
That's in the latter half of 2017.
Strike knows.
Potential. Yep.
Oh,
Pointing
me,
at your doofy
fire
prints.
up Google.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's in August 2017. I want to say
that would be perfect. He could ask her if she wants to go on a date. Oh my God. Okay. Pin in that for my predictions. Oh my God.
Another link. Pilkington frequently uses images of dolls in her work, even choosing to be holding a doll in her portrait in the National Portrait Gallery. And dolls are another header. My best guess, Strike or Robin will visit the Royal Academy and or Courtauld Gallery during the course of the investigation in Sleep Tight Evangeline. Creepy dolls will be involved. And that I think there's something there. Timeline's very coincidental.
Louise Freeman wrote about this in her blogs, didn't she?
She did.
Okay. We can link those too.
Throw in some links. Yeah.
I like that. I'm now excited. I'm off on a totally different piece about the Fauvist art gallery date now, Kens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It looks like Matisse in the studio, Royal Academy of Arts, London, August 5th to November 12th.
Yeah, we know that he remembers things that she likes.
Yes.
Even if she only mentions it once.
And he noted that when he was in her flat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I know.
It could be so good.
Oh, Kens, I know that's not what I was supposed to take away from your whole thing there, but it's what I did take away from it. So sorry. Yeah. Cupid Psyche, case, whatever. Sure. Art date.
What if Strike takes Robin to hang out at the Freud Museum to just spend time together?
That would also be cute.
Not necessarily a date, but showing an interest in her interests and spending more time together outside of work as friends. Depending on how far she is in the book now and whether or not Murphy's out of the picture yet, which we can only hope.
Oh, I have some hope right now.
I'm sure you do. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We've got hope, baby.
We have hope, but maybe it could happen. Probably not, but that would be cool.
I mean, it might not be why they go there, but the vibe could be right. Something like they're there for a case, but he's talking to her about stuff, picking her brain. Yes. He can call her the psychologist again, tell her how impressed he was back in the day. He's going to take all these opportunities to do all that. So
stop. That's so cute.
Okay. Can we talk about what happened last night?
Yes. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sitting in bed. I'm texting my cousin. We're going back and forth. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So Kurt, who was just with us a couple weeks ago, right? He tweeted something about a cocktail he made. So he tagged me in this. J.K. Rowling follows Kurt. About a half hour later, Jo responds to it, which is, I think he said it's the first time she's ever responded to a non-Strike related post of his.
Wow.
Oh.
But she knows that Kurt is a fan. Mm-hmm. So she posted a picture of a cocktail that she had the night before. She said, I had this last night purely because Robin has one in Sleep Tight Evangeline. So she's giving us clues already. It's a nice looking cocktail. Yeah. I responded. I said, that's gorgeous. It looks beautiful. What's it called? When does she have it? Does she throw it on Murphy? I feel like those were questions we all need to know.
Important questions.
to my surprise and
Delight.
she responded. She gave me a laughing, crying emoji.
Amazing.
She said, "It's called a Churchill's Courage." Then she said, "Make of that what you will."
Oh, I'm going to make a 3-course meal.
I said, "Oh, I'll make a lot of it."
Yeah.
And then I said, "Thank you, Joe," kissy face emoji, right? Which she liked, by the way. I know she knows we're going to make a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm spiraling because if you Google this cocktail, guess where it's at?
It is at the Rivoli Bar at the Ritz.
Oh my God.
God.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's the technicality that people are talking about on Twitter. So the Rivoli Bar is separate from the Ritz restaurant.
Yes, it is.
But that does not mean that Robin and Murphy don't stop for a drink first before going in.
Or just Robin.
Or just Robin. She needs it.
She sure does.
She knows what showing us this cocktail called Courage is going to do when she's at the Ritz.
Yes.
And saying, "Make of that what you will."
She knows.
She knows what she's implying.
This drink, the Churchill's Courage, is apparently a traditional nightcap drink at the Ritz. With the picture itself, and thanks to Roseanne on Twitter, by the way, for pointing this out, was taken at the seasonal Secret Garden Bar.
I would be surprised if they went back there again, Strike and Robin. What do you guys think? I think that this is going to be Robin drinking this in the beginning, meeting Murphy, or do you think that she's going back?
I don't know. I have thoughts
I think
on
that
this.
it would be fun to do it a third time. Third time's a charm.
If she needs courage, this is why I said I have hope earlier, that I think that I remember saying before to you, Pools, that you were way too optimistic to hope that she breaks up with him this night.
I'm fully optimistic now.
I think that I'm getting some of that optimism, because if she needs courage and Joe is saying, "Make of that what you will," she might need courage to tell him no.
I could see her coming some realizations on that walk to the Ritz, getting there early and going to the bar for a strong cocktail to fortify herself, where of course she'd be reminded of her 30th birthday. But Ken's, like you said, third time's a charm. I was thinking like she could be back there later in the book. Maybe she decides to do a romantic gesture and text him to meet her there. Say, let's
do this over.
And have a bit of liquid courage to tell him that she loves him. So if she does go back again, could she be in this garden bar, like a secret garden?
If she goes to this specific bar at the Ritz,
then
it would have to be, the earliest it can be is June.
But Joe said it was just the cocktail.
Yeah, but just because we can see Joe's in that specific bar doesn't mean Robin is.
Right.
But she didn't say Robin wasn't in that one either.
No, but she just said this is the drink Robin has.
True.
I'm hoping that it's for the beginning and that it means an early breakup and then all the drama to unfold after.
Fingers crossed.
And that gives Strike an opportunity for his open pursuit. I'm kind of hoping that the "I love you" from Robin comes in private, not in a public place.
So, Lindsay, getting replies like this from Joe can never get old.
No. And you know what? I really needed some cheering up yesterday.
Yeah.
And it just did it.
I bet it did. I liked your suggestion that she throws the drink on Murphy. I would love that. It would be worth the waste of perfectly good alcohol.
I agree. Maybe that giant ice cube can smack him right in the eye. Oh my gosh, it would be like when Charlotte threw the ashtray. He'll have a mark on his eye.
Pretty rude to toss booze at a recovering alcoholic, though. That would be pretty awful. Yeah, like wringing out his clothes. It's not very nice to do.
Yeah, but we don't really care.
The name Churchill's Courage, I think that has to be important. So whether it's at the beginning or at the end, we've talked about both possibilities. I think it could be both.
Okay.
We know that Robin associates drinking whiskey with Strike, right?
I have a question. Are bourbon and whiskey the same thing?
Thank you. I actually know the answer. Bourbon is a type of whiskey.
Okay.
So all bourbons are whiskeys.
But not all whiskeys
whiskeys are bourbons. Bourbon is like the specifically American whiskey made of corn, tastes really gross. Whereas the other whiskey is made of any grain and tastes really gross.
Okay.
Anyway, so yes, bourbon is whiskey. So she is drinking a whiskey. It's just
that's subtype. Very interesting.
Yeah. Whatever's going on with Robin in this cocktail, it involves Strike because she's going to be thinking about Strike because this is whiskey. Also, I had a thought. So we never learn which cocktails they're drinking. I wondered what Robin had been drinking that night, because if it was this, she's getting another one for sentimental reasons. But I've just checked that scene in Ink Black Heart. Robin is mentioned as drinking a Manhattan as her last drink. It doesn't say which, just cocktails before that.
Yeah.
But it specifically says that Strike is drinking a bourbon cocktail because he's mentioned sipping on bourbon and sipping on cocktail. It has to have been this, right?
Oh my gosh.
And clearly that's what gave him the courage to try and kiss Robin, even though it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got my clown makeup on. I'm in my clown car. I feel like it's happening. I feel like this was what he was drinking that night. And now Robin's bought one.
If I'm right, and it's the beginning, I was imagining, okay, she has this cocktail, right? She's thinking of Strike. Obviously, she's going to think of Strike. So many things, what he's just said, the memories that are coming back. She's going to drink this. And I was thinking that Murphy is going to lean in to kiss her hello. And she's not going, she is going to immediately think back to Strike trying to kiss her, right? At both times, both at the Ritz and in the stairway. And she's going to be not repulsed, but just pull back. Like, I don't want to kiss you. I don't love, I think it's going to hit her so hard.
Oh my God, that would be so good.
That's my theory.
And that's when
right
she
now.
runs to the washroom.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I would love it so much.
Or she's just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that would be so messy. I can't wait.
On his birthday.
On his birthday.
It's why it's even more perfect. I love it so much.
I know.
Because you know what? She's so prone to, I can't do this because this. The Robin of Hallmarked Man would be like, it's his birthday. I can't.
Yeah. But now
say
she has
how
to
I
just
feel.
Do it.
But she's got to do it.
She's got to do it. That's part of the growth. Just saying, fuck, I know it's his birthday. I know we're at a very expensive restaurant.
But I can't kiss you.
Still
Because
dumping
I don't want, that's just what I'm imagining. Yeah. But you know how like Strike thought that she looked repulsed, right? But she was afraid.
Maybe she is.
I'm feeling she is going to feel that because she's like, I don't want this man kissing me. He's not the man I love.
And the Murphy sees it on her face.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay, I need it.
Although I just have to note something, and I think our listeners will be disappointed if I don't note this.
Okay.
This cocktail costs 25 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Pounds.
She's not going to care. Robin needs this right now.
What is $47 Canadian?
That's an insane conversion rate.
It's too many dollars.
I want her to not even care or look at the price. I want her to see the word courage, know what she has to do, and do it.
You know what? I will say that 25 pounds is not too many dollars to pay to dump Murphy.
I agree.
If it gets him out the door, that's added value.
Yeah, it's worth every penny.
It would pay for itself.
Every pence.
Okay. We're ready to get in the actual chapters now? Or okay, chapter 43.
In this chapter, Robin thinks about Strike's Christmas gift.
Like we've been doing for a whole year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the epigraph for this chapter. The stars have not dealt me the worst they can do. My pleasures are plenty, my troubles are two. But oh, my two troubles, they reave me of rest, the brains in my head and the heart in my breast. And that is from 17 from Additional Poems by A.E. Housman.
Is this not the perfect epigraph for Robin?
It so is.
The first line feels really ominous, especially since we know the worst is coming.
Mm-hmm.
At least Robin thinks it's the worst. Her pleasures are plenty because she's getting all of these nervous butterflies from Strike. But her troubles are two, TWO, not TOO, which is funny because she has these two men.
It's the two men.
Yeah,
it's the men.
The last line is basically the entire struggle that she's going through in this book, what her head is telling her versus what her heart is telling her.
All right, the chapter opens with Robin thinking about Strike's Christmas gift, and it makes her feel anxious and guilty. I can't imagine why.
Anxious because she's anticipating what he's trying to tell her. She knows it, and that he'll be more direct soon, which obviously is going to make her anxious. In good and bad ways, but guilty because, well, of course, she knows she loves him too.
I like that you've pointed out what it is she's anticipating. This is a sign that she knows he's trying to tell her. She knows he's trying to tell her he loves her. She's dreading it because it means that she'll have to actually confront her own feelings and her current relationship, but she knows.
She does know.
She does.
Yeah.
I think the bracelet has to come up again in her thoughts right at the beginning of Sleep Tight, because when she has a moment to think, she's going to realize that Strike wasn't lying when he said he'd been trying to tell her. She has the proof stuffed in her closet.
That was just a reactive.
Yeah, it was just reactive. She's going to think about it and be like, oh my God, he actually was trying to tell me.
The beginning of her thoughts were not what I was hoping for when I first read this. Robin thinks that it's hard to forget what she first thought when she first opened the present, and I'm right there with her.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's not what we want to hear. We wanted her to relish in those feelings of love and embrace them, right?
Murphy.
We don't want it to be causing more distress. We want her to
Yeah.
keep living in the glow of the bathroom floor.
The fact that Joe wrote that Robin has to quell her feelings of anticipation is really something, because quell implies that those emotions are pretty intense that she's trying to suppress.
And she tries to quell them as best she could, which implies she wasn't really that successful.
I think what's really frustrating about this is that right now she's choosing to be a passenger in her own life. And she's such a good driver,
Right?
She's doing what's the easiest, what won't make waves. And I think that's going to change, obviously.
I understand why she's doing this. The status quo is safe. Even if it's miserable, it's safe because change is risky. You don't know what it will lead to. So even if it's a change she's been longing for, it's frightening. And right now she already feels so unsafe, and it's only going to get worse. So in terms of her relationships, safe and a bit miserable is going to win over the scary unknown and possible happiness.
When this woman starts thinking, if another woman showed her the bracelet and explained, she'd tell her, that man's in love with you. I'm screaming at the book, at Robin. I'm just, Robin.
Yeah, like she knows what it means.
Of course she does. It's like the only way she can allow herself to think the words is by using an example of another woman. Even in this thought and acknowledging the bracelet's significance, she's creating distance. So it's not about her and Strike. It's about some other woman.
Yeah, she has to externalize it to consider it. I really hope that she does have to explain the bracelet to her therapist to be on the other end of that, because watch her therapist's eyebrows raise up to the ceiling and then have to face her therapist.
I can't wait.
Saying the exact same thing that she's imagining saying here.
She could be complaining, well, he said he's in love with me. Well, has there been any signs? Well, I mean
maybe.
Okay, so there's this bracelet. It'd be so good.
Robin tries to explain her thought about what she'd say if other people received the same gift away by saying that, oh, yeah, this is Strike we're talking about. And that, he was alone and self-sufficient. And he didn't say anything at other times when she feels like he could have.
She's going to realize that that's not true, that he has been the one trying.
Every single milestone in the relationship is because Strike did it first.
Yeah. What I also find strange, though, is how his flat living in the 2 rooms above the office, as she puts it, is something she's built up so much as meaning that he doesn't want anything with her.
Yeah.
He's even thought about how it works best for him because of his leg. It's not like it's not something that he can change when they get together.
She doesn't realize her understanding of Strike is outdated.
Yeah.
A few books ago, he was in the mindset that solitary independence and the flat, that was what he wanted.
Yeah, but why does it matter that it's above the office?
I don't know. Just because it's I don't know. Because he only wants to work. He only
Okay.
Which Robin, pot kettle.
Yeah.
She is seeing the external signs of that mindset he was in. She assumes that means his mindset hasn't changed. But she's not being an unbiased investigator. She's not considering all the evidence, right? She's just accepting the evidence that supports her pre-decided conclusion, and she's ignoring the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to blame Murphy for letting his mediocre detective skills rub off on her.
Well, maybe Murphy's going to start investigating.
Oh, it's
himself.
The only case he's ever actually solved.
What I'm very happy about, though, is that she keeps thinking about her wedding. It's the second time that it's mentioned because she also thought about it at the pub and she thinks about it here, too.
I'm shocked that Robin expected Strike to say something at the wedding. Like curry night, I can sort of expecting him to say something, but her wedding?
You didn't say anything when I had just literally married another man.
The mention of the wedding hug makes me even more convinced that they're going to talk about it before the series ends.
I think not only are they going to talk, I'm more and more convinced they will be married before the series end. They are going to be married.
One other thing that I noticed while I was reading this chapter, and hopefully maybe this will change how we approach some of these internal monologues that are especially frustrating, where we're just like, how can you think of him that way? But we've mentioned before about how Strike's internal monologues are much more hopeful and erring on the side of Robin being in love with him and Robin's being the opposite more often than not. I think it's just an interesting bit of characterization that Joe's created this almost photo negative image, so like a direct inverted image, essentially, of Robin's feelings for Strike in this book, where instead of being shown directly how much Strike means to her, like we see in Strike's internal monologues, the strength of her love and how much he means to her is shown in how much she fights against accepting it. So the more intensely she tries to argue against loving him, the more the argument itself proves that she does. And there's actually a phrase that describes it well in psychology called reaction formation, which is a defense mechanism, by the way. It's the old lady doth protest too much rule.
Oh, well, that is what Robin is living in.
She doth. She doth indeed. Yes.
Yeah. Psychology today defines it as a defense mechanism in which people express the opposite of their true feelings, sometimes to an exaggerated extent.
Yep, that is Robin. I would love her new therapist to bring this up or for her to realize it. And it is a very positive way to look at Robin's behavior because you're right. The more frustrating and nonsensical she is, the more it means she loves him.
She loves him so much, you guys.
And I think the concept is also working in the opposite way because she's trying so hard to convince herself that she does love Murphy when we all know she doesn't. But here we get a line that says, she loved Murphy, didn't she? She'd certainly told him so, which is so yikes. It's so
big
incredibly yikes.
My God.
And yeah, kids, I think that you have to be right about Strike's breakup with Lorelai coming up because it's such a heavy contrast to Strike's refusal to say it back.
I want him to bring it up when she accused him of getting bored with women. He's like, no, I just didn't love them. And I wasn't willing to pretend I did. And she's like, ouch.
I'm just really hoping for a satisfying twist on this. She thought she knew construction in Sleep Tight Evangeline. I think that it could be really good.
I was thinking about that too. It has to be something like she didn't think she did. No, she knew she didn't. It has to be.
Oh, that is good. Yes.
It has to be.
Oh, I'd put money on that being the payoff for all of the think new and repetition in this book. Turn it around exactly like that. Oh my God, that's going to be so satisfying.
I think it has to happen.
She did.
Yeah.
She knew she didn't.
She knew it's going to come.
And then she finished her drink and went to break up with him.
Exactly.
Oh my God, fingers crossed.
It makes me both sad and upset for Robin that she's making excuses in her head for Murphy's anger. Just because you understand why he was angry doesn't make it okay how he spoke to you, Robin. Like, you need to demand better emotional regulation from the men you date.
The cobra strike of anger is a good descriptor.
Yeah. And it jumped out at me because
it says strike.
Well, also because it says it's a strike, but it made me remember this one sentence from Lethal White when Robin was leaving Matthew. It said she was scared to take her eyes off her husband. There was something in his expression that recalled a snake peering out from under a rock.
That's creepy.
Matthew's expression, and now Murphy's having cobra strikes of anger. She felt genuinely physically threatened by Matthew in that scene. She had an adrenaline rush. She said, I'll break his nose if I have to. I'll do worse. It worries me that she's seeing the same snake in Murphy's anger because
trying so hard not to be Jafar right now.
It feels like there's a genuine potential threat being set up in the parallel. Maybe not if he's sober, but if he's drinking and angry enough to lash out, I'd be worried because of that cobra strike of nature of his anger.
For me, it's as long as it comes after.
After the breakup.
After they break up. Yeah.
The fact that they hardly ever argue, like Robin says, should be a bit of a red flag too.
Huge red flag.
And the thing is, they don't argue that much by Robin's design. Mm-hmm. She chooses not to tell him things that would cause tension or accepts offers of tea in order not to have to revisit an argument she knows she can't explain.
Yep.
They would argue if Robin actually shared her thoughts.
Yep.
It's not a good thing in the first place, but then it's also not even really the truth. But the way I just said that, accepts offers of tea, that's an actual Lorelai comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Because, when Strike is imagining Lucy saying he shouldn't accept tea and blowjobs, right?
Oh, I remember that. And we know that Robin makes him the perfect cup of tea. So I'm just saying.
Well, now I'm even more convinced that this parallel is going to come up.
Yeah.
I still like that theory. We talked about it a while ago that Murphy is currently in his Lorelai era. Then he might move on to the Madeline era.
I think he's well into entering that era. But this is an interesting comparison because with Lorelai, Strike was blaming himself for letting her take care of him, right? Because it created expectations and intimacy that led to that I love you. With Robin, it's the I love you that's led to more expectations, and letting Murphy care for her has tied her to him more tightly because of guilt and obligation. But it's the same scenario, basically. Their physical or mental vulnerability leaves an opening for the other person, Lorelai or Murphy, to push for more intimacy, more commitment.
And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that.
No, just when you know you're not going to fall in love with that person.
Yeah.
But it's the same scenario, except Strike stood firm and Robin has let herself go along with it.
Yeah.
When Strike asked Lorelai if she wanted him to limp up the fucking aisle, not feeling what I should feel, not wanting it, wishing I was out of it.
Ouch.
That is literally what Robin has let herself be drawn perilously close to doing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she wouldn't limp.
Sure.
But the rest of it is what she's been doing this whole book and will continue to do all the way up the aisle if Murphy has his way.
I would love it so much if during a breakup chapter or argument, Robin says something similar.
Yeah.
You know, that she can't walk down the aisle not feeling what she's supposed to feel for him.
She's already done that once.
Yeah.
She's
not doing it again.
Do it a second time.
Robin's defense of Murphy just sounds to me like she's trying to convince herself, like she's building a case for him in her head. It makes me laugh when she's listing off all these reasons and comes to the last three reasons, because you know that she's thinking of Strike while she's rationalizing all of this to herself. This is the least impassioned defense of a man that she claims to love that I think that I've ever encountered in fiction.
You're right about the final three reasons. So they are: Murphy doesn't play games, didn't lie, and didn't compartmentalize. I think by playing games, she means the suicide note, because she wants to convince herself that that's all it is. But she's also not one to talk about lying. And I really don't see there being an issue with Strike compartmentalizing at this point. He's all in wanting this and combining his work life with Robin and personal life. It's literally all he wants.
Robin getting mad at Strike for lying is quite rich. And we know now Murphy is the one lying to her and compartmentalizing, hugely so. If we can read game playing as being manipulative, I don't know that Murphy gets a pass on that. So if she tries to run this little mental list again in Sleep Tight, she's going to have to take every single one of those off for Murphy, because no, he is doing that. And then what's she going to be left with? He looks good on a salad dressing bottle?
If she truly didn't have any feelings for Strike, Robin wouldn't need to construct a counter argument this elaborate to convince herself otherwise.
Also, a lot of this comparing with Murphy, she's comparing him to Matthew. So of course he's going to be a better option.
Yeah.
For example, not complaining about how much money she makes is an insane thing to list as a good quality in a man. It shouldn't have to be said. It also really makes me laugh that it says that in bed, Matthew wanted applause instead of caring if she was enjoying herself. It's so cringe.
It's so gross. I can't wait for her mind to be blown wide open when she discovers the huge, vast chasm of difference between cares that she's enjoying herself and Cormoran Blue Strike. Because I am pretty sure that difference, that's going to be night and day. It is going to be a revelation.
Well, yes. I mean, they're super in love. That's a plus already. But I always go back to when Strike thinks about what he thought was passion with Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be so different for him, too.
Yeah, that's what I imagined for both of them.
Even though it didn't end up panning out, I am very proud of Strike for booking a beautiful hotel to tell Robin about his feelings.
You've just made me realize his ideal would have been a seaside hotel, because he thinks so often about their night at Whitstable and he regretted losing it, wants to recreate it. But the sea wouldn't have been on the way. So a lake, second best, because at least it's water.
I bet he was a little nervous sending over the itinerary because it's coming right after his Christmas gift. It's back-to-back romantic gestures. It's so obvious.
It's so obvious. And it's a good strategy, you know, if you're approaching this like a boxing match. When you deliver a blow that has your opponent on the ropes, do you retreat and give them room to recover? No, you hit him again.
It says little ripples of nervous excitement kept hitting her at the thought of the place, and she was trying not to analyze them because she was already burdened with so much guilt.
Oh, the nervous excitement is so cute. It's literally butterflies. She's getting butterflies.
She wants for something to happen. Like, listen to what your body is trying to tell you, Robin.
Her body's not lying to her. Her brain is. This is why I think Evangeline is our girl again. I might regret saying that after I find out what the crime is, and we'll see. But In order to get Robin listening to her body and acknowledging what those ripples and shivers mean, we have to see her denying them all first. So,
Yeah.
but I do want to scream when I read that her feelings of guilt led her to be extra nice and considerate towards Murphy. Because Robin, it's literally just lying. This is why he keeps believing her, even when her actions don't always line up with her words, because she throws things like this in there too.
She's trying to treat the symptom rather than cure the disease here. The guilt comes. She's like, oh, I can make up for it if I just put enough effort in on the upset side of the scale. Like, I'll make the guilt go away. But she needs to face the fundamental conflict that's creating the guilt in the first place, because treating the symptom is not going to work. It's going to be exhausting waste of time and effort as she digs herself a deeper hole.
When I first read this book, and it said that they had agreed to put an offer on a house, I about lost my mind. I did not think that it was going to get this far.
True. That being said, though, I have never seen such half-hearted house hunting. The description of Robin half promising to look at the house links that Murphy sends her and then putting in an offer on a house she knows full well isn't going to be accepted. You know, it's all just driven by guilt, which really is a great sign for their relationship and its longevity.
Still, I have to believe it was purely out of guilt for accidentally acknowledging that she loved Strike and getting butterflies over him. But still, if it's accepted, you still accidentally have to move.
Yeah.
Yep.
In a way, the absolute insanity of this decision, it's a demonstration of just how strong and deep that love is. Like you were saying before, Ken's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Judging by how strong the compensation for the guilt has to be, it's the opposite side of that is how strong the love is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is lunacy.
That's science, baby.
Also, I'm guessing she did not send him a single house hunting link.
No, of course not.
No.
How can he go through this with her when she clearly...
not even
Murph.
one.
Oh my God, not even one. She did not send him a single link. I'd put money on it.
When it says that Robin was policing and second guessing every move she made where Strike was concerned, it sounds like a day ending in Y.
I really want to see less policing from her, though. You know, go with the flow.
Yep.
That could only happen after she breaks up with Murphy, though, which is another thing that now is leading me to hope it happens in the beginning.
I think it will.
In their text conversation, I can just imagine Strike crafting this text about Valentine and thinking, how can I tell her and also try to direct the conversation to being in love with her? I know, Charlotte.
That'll do it.
He's trying.
Yep.
Oh,
Robin is so determined to be professional and not be flustered by the mention of Charlotte in Strike's text about Valentine. But can we please see her get noticeably flustered about it in front of Strike sometime?
Well, now it's going to happen because now there's no denying it.
It's out there. Cat's out of the bag.
It's so rude of Murphy to text in the middle of Strike and Robin's conversation.
It is. But you know what? Robin immediately swiping away the rightmove.co.uk link that Murphy sent her had me crying with laughter because that girl literally could not care less. The job is always going to come before you, buddy.
It's not just the job, though. She swipes that away to get back to Strike. Yes, okay, they're talking about work, but he was
Strike, it will always come first.
Interrupting her nervous excitement feelings.
She looks at a house link that Murphy sends her, and her immediate thought of exactly how many IVF babies are you hoping for is hilarious because seriously, Murphy, how many babies are you hoping for?
It just makes it so clear how uninterested she is in creating a future with Murphy. She's not at all.
I bet Iverson would give him like 6 babies.
They'd have a full-on Weasley family.
It's so fun to read that in contrast to her complete uninterest in Murphy, Strike calls her and she has this lurch in her stomach.
Aww.
This chapter is really full of a lot of physical proof and reactions from Robin, which is good to see.
It is good to see.
Speaking of things that we love, though, Strike needs only the slightest pretext now to call Robin instead of text her about DeLion, and I love that.
So she tells him that she doesn't want to pretend to be a
porn producer,
caster.
Casting agent,
I was going to say
something.
porn caster, and that feels like weathercaster.
That feels like podcaster, but gross.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Podcaster, but gross.
I don't like porncaster as a phrase at all.
I kind of felt bad for Robin that Strike had called, and part of that lurch in her stomach might have been also because it would have been so much easier to text this conversation. She thinks that she doesn't want him to think that she's a prude.
Yeah.
I don't really think that this is prudish.
This is actually, you know what? Telling him she can't do it, it's an important moment of growth for Robin. Stating outright she can't do something, they'll have to find another way. You know, she's not letting her worries about being seen as inadequate make her push herself beyond her boundaries and like her limitations. I'm really proud of her. I wish she was using that same energy to resist some other pressures in her life.
He's the one that she can safely do it with.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that this concept of Robin wondering whether or not Strike would find her prudish is making a comeback with the porn casting thing. I wonder if that's something that she's still a little bit hung up on.
I had kind of hoped that he would say something a little bit more reassuring, like, I understand and it's okay. His response was just that he hadn't wanted to use the others, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of think that him not doing that means that they might have a conversation about this at some point, because I do feel like she might feel a little bit sexually inadequate compared to Strike or maybe some of his exes, I think. So yeah, possibly.
When I read the rest of their conversation, I didn't get the sense that Robin was really searching for or missing reassurance. I like that Strike seemed to accept her saying she couldn't do it without question. He just said, okay, then that's our situation. And then they both moved on very quickly to finding a different way to do it together. I liked that. I thought it was very practical. Strike especially didn't make a big deal out of it. It's just a limitation was set. So then they had to figure out how to handle their way around it.
Was there anything else that was said, or was it just I hadn't wanted to involve the others?
I wanted to. Then she said, well, then we'll have to find a different way. And he said, yeah, oh, by the way, I found Fiona Faye. And then they moved on to talking about going through her, basically.
I think the way that I would have taken it and read it is like a disappointment because like I hadn't wanted to do this. I want you to do it kind of thing.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
But I don't think that she is wanting to even think about that right now. She doesn't want to say, hey, do you think that I'm sexually a prude? You know, she does not want to talk about that. So it's not going to be in her thoughts. I think that it's just something very subtle and that's been a little bit in the background that might be a conversation when they start dating or something. Because I think that she's felt like that before. We've talked about that.
She has, but it was before she had this whole relationship with Murphy.
Oh, yeah. To Kenz's point, I think that it's just this small thing that could
potentially pan out.
Yeah, totally could.
It's so funny, though, to me how Strike says he forgot to tell her about finding Fiona.
Oh, I forgot.
I forgot to tell you I spent all Christmas Eve scrolling through porn sites and that my sister's horny friend caught me doing it.
Oh, that would have gone horribly.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Best to have a little distance between that happening and then, oh, I did find her.
By the way.
Yeah.
She's so funny. We seem to have picked up a new Gateshead is a great segue from Strike.
I will say, though, that the Jason and the Argonauts joke still cracks me up. Joe, if you ever want to compare Strike to Jason or use quotes from the epic poem The Argonautica, which is where the Golden Fleece story is from, for epigraphs, that'd be fine.
Argonautica. That's a great word.
Argonautica.
So this is because what's her name is asking Strike to meet him at the Golden Fleece, right?
Yes.
This is the voicemails he's getting. I was actually going to look it up because Strike joking about someone being crazy enough to mistake him for Jason wanted me to know. Did I remember to do it? I did not.
Probably just supposed to look Greek, I'd imagine. I realized there was a movie in the 60s, Jason and the Argonauts, based on this poem. Take a look at the guy who played Jason, who I've linked in this Wikipedia.
Okay.
That's all. Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying, give him a perm, beat up his face a little bit.
His hair's a bit wavy. I can see it.
Make it a bit curlier, beat him up a bit. I could see it.
Hit him in the nose a few times.
I like his eyes. They look gentle. Anyway, according to Wikipedia, though, this film is a cult classic. And apparently in Great Britain, it's considered an important children's movie and played on TV during the holidays. So I bet cash money that Corman watched this a bunch as a kid and knows it.
Yeah.
And so that's what comes to mind when he says Jason.
Now I'm wondering, though, if Robin's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
you don't really
Robin
realize
has
how
also
sexy
seen
you
it
are.
and is like, oh, I think you could look a little like Jason. I remember Jason. So after Strike makes Robin laugh with that Jason and the Argonauts quip, it's Robin's turn to segue right into Rita Linda. At which point, Strike immediately hangs up the phone. Because Miss Two Times is on the move.
Sometimes I always wonder, why do they need to hang up? Just stay on your phone call
Stay
and
on the
follow
phone
them.
and walk. Get a Bluetooth earpiece so you look like a douchebag and walk. But remember when they first came out, those little earpieces?
Oh, yeah.
It's almost funny the number of times they start touching the Rita Linda thing only to back off. I feel
Ugh.
bad that this super important clue gets pushed to the back burner so often when it ends up being pivotal to the case.
Well, that's exactly why we should have caught it. The amount
Yeah.
of times that I think Robin starts off by saying, I know this might not be relevant. That's a clue to its importance if I've ever seen one, you know?
Yep.
It's lucky for them that Robin stuck to her guns on this one rather than backing down in the face of this constant response, because her instincts were telling her this is important. She dug her heels in and she was right.
I wonder if this is a even book parallel because in 6 we had, was it Strike pointing towards Gus and Robin saying no?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then now it's the opposite.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the opposite.
So maybe with Leda there'll be something and one of them is like, no. And it's the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be Strike with Whitaker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then Robin's like, nah, it
No,
was
I
Gillespie.
can't. But it was.
Poor Robin is still feeling the effects of her anxiety even after talking with Strike. And I like how Joe describes it as waiting for something to happen, something disruptive and cathartic, as a person feels in the change of air pressure the first intimations of a coming thunderstorm. This feels so much like a pointer to the very last chapter's epigraph where it describes the moment before imminent collapse.
And what do you find in a thunderstorm? Lightning strikes.
Lightning strikes. Are they going to be dancing through them?
I hope not. His leg might attract the lightning.
Some unwanted
yeah.
attention.
But yes, it absolutely does feel like the last chapter. What happened is certainly disruptive. It's going to disrupt Robin's lies to herself and to Murphy. It's going to disrupt his birthday dinner, possibly, hopefully, his proposal. It's the best disruption I've ever seen.
This is why I am increasingly of the opinion that Robin's not going to end up engaged to Murphy at the beginning of the next book. The path up the aisle has been broken. It's been disrupted.
Yeah.
Saying yes would just be more of the same paralysis she's been suffering from. But this lightning strike, it brings change, right? It has to.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And it also is cathartic. It's cathartic for Strike to finally get it out.
So
but
cathartic.
To us.
I feel so catharted.
Yeah.
Catharted and tantalized. That's us. Yeah.
Catharted and tantalized.
Thoroughly catharted.
Okay, chapter 44.
In this chapter, Strike FaceTimes with Rupert's old flatmate, Zach.
And the epigraph, not over rich, you can't have everything, but such a man as riches rub against, readily stick to, one with a right to them, born in the blood. That's Half Rome by Robert Browning.
I feel like this epigraph could be trying to draw comparisons between Greg and Strike and their attitudes towards selling Ted and Joan's house. Who believes they have a right to money versus who actually has a right to it. And I think with Strike's attitude towards selling the house to the Smiths, he shows himself a worthy inheritor, unlike Greg. In fact, I could say, you could argue that riches don't readily stick to Greg or even Zach due to them not being worthy, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I can think is the Neff in this chapter and who is worthy by blood to inherit it. But I think you're probably right. Greg isn't blood family. It's really up to Strike and Lucy.
It could also apply to Zach generally. He was from a family that could whisk him away to a cushy job in Kenya, leaving someone else responsible for his debts and in danger from a drug dealer. It's that sense of it's a privileged birth where you might get in trouble or go bankrupt, but there's always that parachute so that you can land softly.
After not hearing about Ted and Joan for quite a few chapters, we see Lucy and Strike getting ready to sell their house in St. Mawes.
I can't imagine how emotional this must have been for both of them. It's not just selling a childhood home and their last connection to Ted and Joan. It's saying goodbye to the only place that they ever felt safe and stable as children. I don't think that Strike is as sentimental about it as Lucy is, kind of like with the Land Rover, but he still is. It makes Greg's focus on getting as much money as they can for it feel even more insensitive because of what the place means to them.
I mean, it would be crazy of me to suggest
Here we go.
that maybe Greg is leading a secret second life that's landed him in some hidden financial trouble, and he's seeing his wife's
Where's that
inheritance
tinfoil hat?
as his golden ticket out. And yes, I'm fully aware there's no actual evidence to support this, but just let me have a little treat, okay?
Strike's thoughts on why Greg feels the need to be involved are very funny, and I feel like it needs to be pointed out that Strike was very good and didn't start any fights despite Greg being a giant douche.
I don't know how he does it, honestly. I need to
He needs
learn
another
his
medal.
ways of letting things go. Anyway, on its own, I guess it's not terrible, right? Greg wants to get as much money as you can for something, but he could see how upset Lucy is about it.
Right?
He's making her question herself, adding to her stress. It's not what a good husband should be doing.
No.
And
Mhm.
and not feeling any emotion about it, knowing what it meant to his wife. It's one of my least favorite Greg moments. This
Amen.
one.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
100%. Yeah.
I'm on board.
It probably won't happen, but I kind of want to see Greg get punched sometime in the next 2 books, or at least suffering in some sort of way that's enjoyable to read. You know, like I think about that line from the Harry Potter movies. Dobby doesn't want to see Harry Potter killed, never killed, just maimed or seriously injured.
Yeah. You know, I wouldn't hate it if Nick got the chance. Because
Mhm.
for me, Greg's biggest crime is always going to be that comment. Well, we'll see. But it's, that comment in
So
Silkworm
far.
so far about
Yeah.
them not having kids. And I would just like to see Nick get his time to shine with that.
Nick comment.
Or maybe their baby can spit up in Greg's mouth or something, like I did to my aunt when I was a baby.
Why would you
Nice.
say that?
Because it's funny.
You're gonna make
Amazing.
me sick. I feel physically nauseous at you saying at that.
It happened.
Ugh.
Nice.
My uncle used to laugh so hard when he would tell that story. And he said, "Oh, if you were old enough, I would have paid you for that."
Oh, God.
I also locked my aunt in a closet when I was 1 year old.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was by
That's
myself
funny.
just walking around the apartment until my grandpa just happened to stop by.
That's very funny.
Yeah. And heard my aunt
Amazing.
screaming in the closet.
Oops.
Anyway.
What did you all think about Strike's attitude towards the new family and his thoughts about this being a Cornish point of view?
Shockingly, I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
I never would have
I'm
expected that.
amazed.
Yeah, I think it's really sweet that we're seeing him connecting more and more with home as time goes
Yeah.
on. Because, he may be a London boy, but he's also got that Cornish thing going
God
on.
damn it, Kens.
Hens.
I know. I beat you to it.
That song annoys the shit out of me.
I don't know if he'll be taking us back to Highgate, though.
No.
Met all of his best mates. So I guess all the rumors.
You didn't
are true.
have to
I hate
sing
that
it.
fucking song. It's a really clear sign of the healing he's done. When he chose to enter the army, he was choosing the rootless life that felt familiar to him because of Lita. When he chose Charlotte's chaos, that's where he felt comfortable. But a lot of that was because of the trauma of his childhood. As he's been working through and healing from that, he's gained an appreciation for stability and normalcy. He started to realize that what felt comfortable maybe didn't feel good, and he could feel good. His changing attitude towards Lucy and wanting to commit to building a life with Robin are the same manifestations of this healing.
His priorities here on who they should sell to are 100% in order, I think.
Yeah. And I like what you're saying about connecting more with his home, because this is a man who's never really had one. We know what his childhood was like. Then he joins the military. He's been in one place for a long time now, but that connection you're talking about is to the people that's tied to the place, and also to what the place meant to him as the only real home he's ever known.
Yeah.
I have to imagine, even if we don't see it, that he will feel the same way about a home when it's a place that he and Robin share.
If they have to leave the office, he'll suddenly realize he has a home right there.
Yeah. And this is the first book where he does realize that he's had this good example of marriage from Ted and Joan that they provided. And I think opening himself up to love and marriage has made that kind of sentimentality stir up in him. So I agree. It's very sweet, very thoughtful, a fantastic contrast to Greg.
Oh, quite.
I am starting to come around to the idea of Lucy leaving him. This was just so
Nice.
insensitive of, his wife. And yeah, there are other things.
I will take starting to come around as a win.
Right?
I like it. It was so insensitive of him and so mercenary. I could see Joe setting up this arc with Strike and Lucy, where just as Strike has decided that, actually he does kind of want to settle down with one woman and is going to openly try to make that happen. Lucy, on the other side, is going through the opposite crisis, where the stable marriage and life she's built herself is falling apart, but she's realizing that she needs to actually pursue a different kind of happiness, opposing journeys, like meeting in the middle.
I think she probably chose Greg for the wrong reasons. It was about stability.
Yeah. And she was quite young, quite young. She was like young, just like Strike was when he went into the army. I'm going to make Lucy and Greg Marriage Crisis one of my Sleep Tight Evangeline predictions for like the third book in a row. But this time it's going to happen. Okay.
I think the only thing is that we don't know a lot about their marriage.
That's true.
We just see these little peeks through Strike's perspective.
Yeah, maybe it's different.
It could be nothing, or it could be something.
Random thought. Would I be crazy for thinking that maybe Wardle and Lucy would be cute together?
I like it.
Interesting.
I'm kind of into it. And I just realized why I thought this a few minutes ago. It's because Peter Wimsey's cop buddy falls in love with and marries Peter's sister in those books.
Parker?
Very cute. Yeah.
Spoiler.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that's so funny though, because I thought the entire time while I was reading the first book that Parker is very like strong Wardle vibes.
Right?
So
right. You got the Wardle vibes. You see the vision.
I do. I see the vision.
I kind of have the vision. Okay. I have not been able to get this out of my head since I thought about it, honestly. I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of Wardle and Lucy meeting and falling in love in the middle of this like divorce from Greg arc. Do I think it will happen? Probably not.
Be cute.
I love the idea because like we know now that Wardle has been acting as a surrogate father to all these nieces and nephews, that he's been going through so much grief. Yeah. He was raised by a single mother who was amazing to him and now has lost her. I feel like there are some ways they could connect, and he needs someone to support him and take care of him. And Lucy loves taking care of people. And Lucy needs someone to be a bit sexy and a bit nice to her and a bit exciting to draw her closer to Strike's world a bit because she's hidden herself off from it. And Wardle's disapproving big brother vibe in those last chapters, I'm like, he could fit with Lucy. They could be really cute.
I'm really upset with myself about how much I love this idea.
Right?
And I bet Lucy would be so cute with little Liam too.
Oh my God, she'd be the best stepmom. And you know, she would jump to help take care of all those nieces and nephews.
And Wardle would have a great time with her boys.
Right. And Strike would go over to visit more often because he doesn't hate the guy she's with. I'm just saying, he could probably also keep Luke in line, you know, as a cop.
Yeah.
Maybe actually he'd turn out a little better.
I have a vision here and I really want to manifest
We're all buying into it.
They could meet now that Wardle works for Strike.
I know.
They could run into each other.
She can come to the office, show up.
Like maybe they're
going to lunch or something.
And like Wardle's the only one there. And he's like, do you need a supportive cup of coffee? It'd be so cute.
Yeah. There are hints that Greg is just inconsiderate of Lucy, right?
Just kind of a douche.
And that maybe she deserves a better love. And Wardle has grown so much. Like I like him a lot now, but I didn't at first.
I know. And Lucy's grown too a bit.
I feel like Wardle could have his own books too.
I'd read Wardle's books, especially if he falls in love with Lucy and I get to read
They'd be much better than the Murphy series.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. So much better. Yes. I'm just going to be living in this for the rest of the episode. I'm going to check out for a bit.
Okay. Should we go to Strike and Pat in the office?
I swear, Cormoranda, the goldfish. He steals the spotlight of any scene that he's in, and I hope that we see more of him in Sleep Tight Evangeline. He better not die. I will be genuinely upset.
Goldfish live a long time. I keep forgetting what the actual names of the goldfish are because I keep thinking it is just a cormoranda. Like they have them at the fish store that I go to all the time. And I almost want to ask the guy like, oh, tell me about the cormorandas.
So funny. You'd be like, is that like a breed of Miranda that I don't know? Yeah, the sexy one. The merman.
By the way, they're $80.
Those are some expensive ass fish.
I took a video of one the other day for you. They're so cute with their little...
And they keep trying to kill themselves unless you feed them peas.
Well, my Danios did the same thing and they succeeded.
Oh.
I hadn't thought about why the fish is described as vaguely obscene, but after doing some Googling again, you know, kind of looks like a ball sack.
Oh my gosh. No, they don't. They're so cute. It's just they're weird looking because it's like they have an outside brain.
Looking. Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Owen Quine could have loved it.
He would have loved it.
I feel like this is just going to be the opposite of the Whippet opinions because I think most sea creatures are cute. Great whites, so cute. Like little just you want to scratch them right there. You know, an octopus, so cute.
I'm trying to think of a sea creature that I would describe as cute and I'm having trouble. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting there. Don't interrupt me. Some of them are fine. None of them give me cute
Pat naming this fish cormorant because she thinks it has hair like his. Highlight of this book for me.
It's
so funny. Okay, so like I've said, I love to go look at these fish. Is this one black or dark blue?
I don't know.
I've seen the black ones, but I've never seen like a blue one. I think it might be black, actually.
I think it's black, yeah.
I have seen them, so I think I need one. But it looks like they have brains on the outside of their heads.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like curly hair.
I don't see. All I see when I look at the fish is like, oh my God, does that poor fish have a tumor? And I feel really bad for them. I know it's like how they look, but like I feel bad for pugs too because of how they look, and that's humans.
Yes, so they have lumpy heads that look like curly hair. I think they're cute. And I think that this is so funny when Strike is like, hair. It's just so
it is very
good.
funny.
It is. It's so funny. If Strike's fish has hair that's like his, does Robin's equivalent have beautiful gold flowing fins?
She must.
Oh, like Cleo in Pinocchio.
Yes, that is exactly what I was picturing.
Yeah. Does it ever say what other kinds of fish they are? Are they all types of goldfish? I don't think they're all orandas then.
No, I know Strike says these weren't goldfish as he recognized them when he first sees the tank, but he only mentions the black one as the weird head growth. Yeah, so the others could be like
there are other
different
types of
fancy
large
breeds.
golds. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like normal looking orandas, because I saw a couple pictures of orandas that looked like more normal.
Okay, we got to talk about Midge.
Yes.
Yep.
Are we ready?
I'm
we
ready.
We got to talk about Midge. Look.
I'm braced. I'm ready.
Let's go. I have had our differences.
Yes.
Or our similarities, if one of you traders is correct.
You know what? You know what's funny? I still stand by that. I still stand by it.
I still stand by being offended.
At least you weren't compared to Catherine Kent, Lindsay.
Hold on a second. She is headstrong and I admire that about you, that you're like so headstrong and be willing to fight for the things that you believe in, and also fight against things that you think are stupid. Like Midge doesn't follow rules that she thinks are stupid, and you are also the exact same way.
But she's annoying about it.
Well, I'm not you're annoying. I'm saying that the admirable traits that Midge has are things that I like about you, and that's why I compare them mentally, not the annoying parts of Midge, the parts of her that are admirable.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a compliment. Yeah, take it as what it's meant.
She's annoying about it.
She is.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at that? Are you saying that I'm annoying about it too?
No, it's funny.
Okay, but let me say, I am immediately on her side here because she's calling to complain about Kim, and I love to complain about Kim.
I am so glad. I was gearing up to defend Midge against Kim's accusations here.
Oh, come on, it's Kim. It's not that serious.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to be able to lay down my swords. Like Lindsay and Midge finally united by their hatred for fucking Kim.
The enemy of the enemy is my friend.
There you go.
There we go. So wise, so true.
How do you guys feel about Midge calling Strike to let him know what she told Kim in her own way? That she told Kim to fuck off before Kim can tell him herself? Because I think that it's fun seeing Strike handle these kinds of personnel issues.
This is the direct communication that I appreciate. In fact, if Robin could have done a little bit more of this and told Strike how she felt about Kim, the backstabber could have been gone already.
Exactly.
You know, it's not Midge's fault for losing her cool with someone who sucks as bad as Kim sucks. Yeah. You know, I can't help but notice that she doesn't treat any of the men the way she treats Robin and Midge. Pools, you've said before, you believe that J.K. Rowling is showing different types of misogyny in these books. And sadly, this is another way.
Yeah. Kim thinks she can only be successful by putting other women down. She thinks there's only room for one woman at the table. So she's going to undermine every other woman and ingratiate herself sexually to the boss to make sure she's that woman.
Yeah.
It's a situation that's created by misogyny because so often, they actually only do let one woman token sit at the table. And, you know, that woman does have to play by the men's rules. But by buying into this system, Kim herself is now perpetuating the misogyny. She's building it up. She is adding bricks to the wall and cementing them in place, right?
Yep.
Just to make sure that she's on the right side of that wall. It is cowardly behavior. It is traitorous behavior. Zero respect for this shit.
Kim is not a girl's girl.
She is not.
Midge might be too much of a girl's girl. I don't mean that in that way. I don't mean it in that way.
No.
I just mean that she's like gonna push at Strike just because,
Yeah,
but
Hmm.
I guess if I had to pick what's worse, it's obviously Kim. Although it
yes.
pains me a little bit to say, because I hate when she pushes at Strike
Well,
for no
very
reason.
magnanimous and big of you to say that.
Thank you.
Now, with all these phone calls, I have to say I'm mad on Strike's behalf that they keep
Oh,
interrupting his time with his sandwich. Let the man
right.
eat.
It is genuinely, there are multiple points in this book where he is interrupted and can't manage to finish his sandwiches. Can't finish his sandwiches, can't tell Robin he loves her because the universe is just conspiring against him. It's like the book of sandwich blocking. It's a book of blocking for Strike.
I got to say, it was pretty endearing when Strike defended Midge to Kim. It's like
Yeah.
having a sibling and giving them a hard time, but the second that someone else says something bad
Yep.
about them, you defend them.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't exactly defend her. He just says, like, hey, she's not slapdash about her work, but
Yeah.
it's close enough.
Yeah.
No,
It's
yeah,
close
he
enough.
totally does. And he told Kim that she's clearly speaking to Midge as if she's her superior, and she's not.
Mhm.
I hate Kim's defense of just wanting things to be up to standard because I think all of it is to try and make Strike think highly of her and that she's the best.
Oh, absolutely. There is nothing wrong with Midge's record keeping. Kim's just trying to
course
invent a
not.
flaw so she can build herself up to Strike.
Yeah.
And like you said, she doesn't choose to criticize the men like this.
Yeah. And I imagine that Midge is pushing some of her buttons because she will stand up for herself.
Yep.
Mhm.
She's probably used to women like doing what Robin does, trying to ignore it, trying to move
Yeah.
on.
I bet Midge pisses her off.
Yeah, Midge isn't
Yeah.
going to do that. And I like that about her.
I love that to be like ripped out of your mouth. It's like you hate yourself for saying it.
I just want to say it's also pretty rich of Kim to accuse Midge of this when Kim herself is sloppy as hell with Tish Benton later, for example.
He may not have had time to listen to Mitch complain about how Kim spoke to her, but it is great to see him address this in a way that both brooks no argument and that show that he and Robin are unequivocally in charge. That and cutting her off mid very lame explanation for the text on Christmas.
I also don't believe that she was trying to text some stew about
of course
a nude.
not.
No,
Yeah.
definitely
She made
not.
up stew because she's like, well, what would be right above STR in my contact list? Oh,
Or below.
STU, right below. Yeah,
Yeah.
stew.
Here's the part of this phone call that I don't really know what to think because Kim says the reason that she was upset with Midge is because Midge is going on and on about the candy article.
Yeah, when is the next time we see Strike talk to Midge about the candy stuff? Because I'm trying to remember if Kim is lying about this. Because since Midge was referring to Strike as a player earlier in the book, I'm not totally convinced that Kim's lying, as annoying as she is, but I can't remember if it comes up again.
I'm not convinced that she's totally lying either. It would be a big thing to just make up completely, but it's really hard for me to see Midge going on, like Kim said, because I don't think that she's going to talk to her that much. She might have gone on to others about it, which would annoy me deeply, but Kim, I don't think she would. It's possible it was brought up. Kim is exaggerating. Maybe she overheard.
I can see her maybe going on if she was talking to like Dev or Barkley, maybe. Dev seems a little more like rigid.
I could see that. Maybe Kim overheard. I think there might be a tiny nugget of truth, but not anywhere what Kim is saying. And that she's just using it to make herself look good in Strike eyes. Like, oh, she's the best note taker. She's defending me.
Unsurprisingly, I think Kim is full of shit. Primarily because, like you said, Lindsay, Midge does not like her. Midge is also fully aware of all of Kim's little insinuations that she's sleeping with Strike. And whether they're true or not, I think Midge knows it would make her an absolute idiot to choose Kim as the one to go on and on to, let alone talk at all about this too. Because she'd 100% know Kim would tattle straight to Strike if she did. I think if Midge was going to talk about the article, it'd be to Robin to ask if it's true.
Well, we know she is a bit of a gossip. Can't forget that.
I would believe that Dev has been going on and on about the article to Kim because we know it's a big issue for him and his wife.
Yeah.
And he has not picked up that Kim is a piece of work the way the women instantly did.
I didn't expect you to say work right there.
Yeah, she's a piece of work. And, you know, I do think Kim has just transplanted that onto Midge because it serves her purpose.
It would be just such a huge lie to get caught in.
But how would you get caught in that? Midge says, no, I didn't. And then Kim's like, yeah, she did.
Yeah. And then she's also probably counting on Strike never wanting to bring it up
Oh,
and
yeah.
ask.
100%.
Yeah. So if that scenario is true, Kim is not going to throw the man under the bus.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to use that to throw a woman under the bus instead.
I really enjoyed reading about this FaceTime interview with Zacharias. Is that his full name?
Zacharias. It's
Um,
Zachathy.
Zachathy. I enjoyed reading this interview because Strike just manipulates him so beautifully. It's satisfying because this guy he sucks, right?
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. I disliked him from the moment that he interrupted Strike.
Seeing Strike reach over to hit the button.
Yes.
Is
oh my goodness.
very powerful.
It's so hilariously predictable. And he's like, oh, wait, no. He falls for it hook, line, and sinker every time. It's one of my favorite parts, too. It's so good.
Here's a very small detail, but we get another lion mention because there is a picture of a lioness in the background where Zach is.
A good spot. Yeah. I had another thought, though, when we see his surroundings, because the description of the background says dazzling sunlight was falling through a window to his right. Zachathy has literally run away from his problems to somewhere sunny, just somewhere like Robin yearns to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's done exactly what Robin yearns to do by the end of this book. Now that I think about it, Rupert does the same thing too, runs away alone to a gorgeous sunny paradise. Yes. But it doesn't actually work for either of them because their past tracks him down in the form of Strike and Robin. And that's getting out of England and seeing some sun doesn't work for Robin either because her problems will follow her. Problems are in here. You got to turn around. You got to face them head on.
All right. So what are some good moments from this interview?
I'll say this. Zach couldn't possibly have known Rupert very well if he was suggesting that Rupert would have gone back to Switzerland to be a ski instructor, given his history and how his parents died, right?
Sorry, I should not laugh at that. That's not funny. His reasoning seems to be that because he spoke German and French, but I can't see anyone wanting to do that after that kind of tragedy.
Seems like you'd have an aversion to it after that.
Anyone who knew Rupert
Trauma.
Even a little.
I think I'm like nervous about driving a lot just because that's how my grandma died. And I was 4.
Zach's comment about Rupert having an Oedipus complex because of how much older Decima was than him.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny in hindsight, both because in the sense that Zach is right about their relationship being incestuous, but also
that was a clue then, wasn't it?
It was. But also because the Oedipus complex was created by Freud, who we know is in some way connected to Sleep Tight Evangeline.
Except how embarrassing is it that he called it Oedipal?
Makes it sound like a puddle of pee.
That's exactly what I thought. Why? Why did we both think that?
I don't know. Piddle sounds like a synonym for peeing. Yeah.
That's really weird. So I wonder if there are more Freud connections that we haven't known to be looking for.
There might be. Gotta keep our eyes out.
The most interesting piece of information Strike gets is about Rupert ripping up his lucky shirt and acting strangely. I think if I found out that I'd been sleeping with a half sibling, I'd act a little crazy too.
Yeah.
I actually typed brother and it was so upsetting and gross to me that I had to delete it and put half sibling instead.
Yeah.
That was a plot point that I missed, I feel like. So what was the deal with the ripping of the shirt?
It was just like a special shirt. It meant a lot to him. And he might have torn it up after learning the truth because it felt tainted and wrong.
Because it was associated with Decima. Gotcha.
Yeah. Does that sound right, Pools?
Yeah, it was his lucky shirt. And more importantly, it was the shirt he was wearing when Decima told him she was pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah. I can 100% see why he'd rip that up after learning the truth because a half-sibling pregnancy is not actually so lucky.
Strike had the lucky suit that he associated with Charlotte and your whole secret siblings theory. Like he probably would have ripped it up. That would have been
a mess. He would have ripped up that suit.
Anyway, he still could.
Shame because he looks so good in it. So we get a bit of a case review via Murder Board after the phone call, and Strike sees that Robin has pinned up the article she found on Rita Lindeval, and he thinks, had any other detective at the agency pinned the paragraph there, he'd have taken it straight down again. But as it was Robin's, he left it there for now.
I want to give Strike a little slack because his dismissal of this is so plot-driven.
Right? Yeah.
But I'm still annoyed that he didn't want to clutter the board. It's essential information.
Yeah, totally agree. I also can't help kind of liking the as it was Robin's bit
Well,
because
yeah.
she's special.
Yeah.
I honestly do think it's not just because he's in love with her, but also because he respects her abilities and trusts her intuition. So even if he doesn't see the value, he's not going to totally write it off straight away, right?
It is just funny. So we just read him thinking about what he learned from the space-time call, saying he doubted it would crack the case. Then he's coming over here to dismiss, something that actually does crack the case.
Right.
And also the thing about the shirt is important.
Minorly.
But okay, so Strike's phone call to Robin means that we get to talk about the Hallows again because the Land Rover comes up.
Yes.
Yep, sure does. And I feel for Robin so much trying to drive that rental car with the clutch sticking because I don't know how to drive a manual, though I'd like to learn sometime, but I've seen it happen with other people and it sounds like it sucks a lot.
I don't know how to drive a manual either, although I do have a memory of my uncle teaching me in his office parking lot, and he really hyped me up. So I think that I could learn, but also why would you want to?
Yeah.
This is not something I get. Making driving significantly harder to do, and I have to use both legs. No, thanks.
Thank you.
I like my automatic just fine.
I already have enough anxiety about driving. Thank you.
Same.
Yeah.
Her Land Rover was associated in his mind with many significant journeys, with jokes, shared food, and long conversations. Some of their best times together had been in that drafty old car with a tin in the glove compartment for him to use as an ashtray and its increasingly persistent rattle.
I love the little note about the tin in the glove compartment because it's something that she put in her car for him. It's like having a drawer at her place,
Very cute. Yes.
I'm so glad that we get this line because last time his thoughts weren't as sentimental, even though he said he was kind of bummed about it too, But having him think about this in the same chapter where he's thinking about Ted and Joan's home, the way he's describing it feels a little bit like home.
I'm thinking back to those Deathly Hallows, whose purpose was to defeat death. And Strike's Hallows are basically the inversion. So what would the opposite? It would be to accept love, to secure love, to create love. I like that last one because that's what the Land Rover kind of was, right? It was a little bubble they were in together that let them build their love through shared experiences. The invisibility cloak, you hide from death until it's time to step out and meet him like an old friend.
Oh.
But in the Land Rover, you're hiding with love, traveling with love until it's time to get out with them at your destination. I don't know. I might be taking this too far. But hey, I come up with a fun theory. I'm going to milk it for everything it's got.
It's not the Land Rover. It's the Love Rover.
It's the Love Rover.
The Love Rover.
Yes. Love Rover.
I love that Strike immediately reaches for his phone and calls Lucy after he thinks about these feelings about the Land Rover because it confirms my thoughts that these sentimental emotions are all connected for him. Does that make sense? Like home and Lucy and Robin.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Thoughts about the Land Rover lead naturally to home, which has been on his mind. And that gives him to the idea of lending Robin money for the new home. His mind was connecting the dots.
Yeah.
From what we've heard from Lucy about Greg's attitude towards selling Ted and Joan's house, it doesn't sound like he knew Ted and Joan very well. Or at least it seems like he was trying to hide his greed behind what Ted and Joan would have wanted.
It seems impossible to me that he wouldn't have known them or what they'd want that well, even if he didn't spend a ton of time with them because Lucy would have talked about them. They've been married for so long. I honestly just think he's trying to manipulate Lucy so they get more money.
Yeah. So that's not even a consideration. He knows that they wouldn't like it and doesn't care.
Yeah. I think so.
Fully agree. He's out for all he can get and clearly views Lucy's inheritance as belonging to him.
And her grief against her.
Yeah. But, guess what, Greg? Inheritances are generally non-matrimonial assets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unless they're mixed in with the family money or used for the family. So hopefully Lucy will keep that money securely ring-fenced in her own account. Because if she puts that in a joint account, she's fucked. Keep it in her own account so he doesn't get a penny of it in the divorce arc that I'm manifesting. And then
she and Wardle can use
take a nice vacation, buy like another cute little house. I don't know, whatever.
I wonder, do you think there's any chance that Lucy could get into investigating? What does she do for a job?
We don't know, just that it's demanding.
Yeah, onerous.
Which drives me crazy that we don't know. I want to know what she does.
I'm just saying it would be super cute if Lucy started
so cute.
opening, I don't know. That's probably way too insane.
I get it. She and Wardle could open up their own little agency.
Yeah, but imagine, no, they work with Strike and Robin. Imagine
Okay.
if
They
Lucy
can
and
open up a
Strike are
franchise.
investigating Leda's murder together and the fights that would come
Yes.
from
Oh my
that.
God, that would be so good.
Fighting.
And Wardle in the middle.
But funny, and Robin too.
Yes, Robin and Wardle just
Tell
like
your girlfriend, tell your boy. Okay, well, we're going way too far with this.
Robin and
Okay.
Wardle just
Okay.
go have a cup of tea together while Strike and Lucy, and they're like, "So how's your weekend?"
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's very cute. This is fully like I'm living in this universe now. It's happening. What's
funny.
their ship name? War Lucy? No.
Loodle.
Lordle.
Lurdle.
Lardle.
No, I don't like it.
No, me neither.
Lyric. I don't know.
Oh,
We can
Eric,
use
right?
Eric.
Lyric.
Lyric. Anyway,
Irusi?
But anyway, meanwhile, Strike does actually know what they would have wanted, and deep down, Lucy knows too. And it feels like a callback to the epigraph when Strike says, "It'd be like Ted, Joan, and us all over again," said Strike shamelessly.
Oh,
shamelessly.
I love that line so much.
Me too. It's just going straight for the jugular.
Yeah.
But as shameless as it is, he's totally right.
I love how well Strike knows Lucy. He knows exactly
To
what to say to
manipulate
get through to her, right? He knows exactly what will just work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It reminds me a bit of Harry when he was getting that pensive memory from Slughorn. You remember when he was
Oh,
Felix Felicis?
I sure do.
And he tugged the
He
heartstrings.
uses it. Yep.
I guess that was to get to a Horcrux rather than to get to a Hallow. But you know what? Similar energy. Although Strike does not have Felix Felicis on his side in this book.
No, he does not.
No, he's like
No.
the opposite potion of whatever
Yeah.
Felix Felicis is.
He's operating by Murphy's Law this entire book.
Murphy's Law.
Well, that's why we got to get rid of Murphy at the beginning of the
Exactly.
book. So
Yep.
he is right, though, about the house. Yes, he might be doing a little manipulating of his own, but he's doing it because he knows it's the right thing to do. And he knows
Yes.
that it's what Lucy wants too. She
Yes.
needs that reassurance from him. She
Yeah.
needs
Mhm.
him to be the one to say this is the right decision.
Yeah.
We've seen that in their dynamic before.
Yes.
I think she questions herself a lot. And
She
Strike is
does.
there to be the backbone and say, you're doing the right thing.
She needs the confidence.
Yeah.
You know what? Who makes her question herself, I bet?
Yeah, I know. I
Fuck
know.
you, Greg. She needs the confidence to stand up to Greg because you know that he's going to still try to persuade her otherwise. He's not going to let it go, even though she's made
Yeah.
up her mind. He's going to try to push her. She needs Strike strength.
And he gives it to her. That's really sweet. He's a good brother now.
He is.
He is. And also funny. I like it when Strike's
Yeah.
shameless.
Yeah.
I know.
What can I say? It's cute.
It is.
He does it a few times in this
Yeah.
book, and it's so cute every time.
Yeah.
I really hope we see more scenes with Strike and Lucy together where they can catch up, because there's
Mhm.
something about their dynamic and Lucy's
Mhm.
relief when Strike gives her one less thing to worry about that's really nice
One
to
less thing
read.
to worry
Yeah.
about. That's one less thing to worry about. Sorry.
It'll be nice to see a point where instead of adding stress, she's the one helping
Yeah.
take a load off of Strike's mind. And it
Ooh.
would be a nice connection with Robin and Linda too.
Yeah, I would like to see more of them together. This is another relationship I've loved seeing develop. I'm really interested to see how they interact when and if Leda's murder's brought back up. That would bring up a lot of big emotions, and
Mhm.
they've kind of healed that conflict in the running grave. But I bet the dynamic would be really interesting.
I hope he ends up talking to her about Robin during Sleep Tight
Yes.
because I could see that kind of being something like what you were talking about, Ken's, like Lucy helping easing Strike's stress.
Mhm.
Like she could offer him reassurance and advice. Also, you know, it'd be really fun if Wardle and Lucy were dating. Strike finding out. Like Wardle trying to
Amazing.
keep it secret, but then Strike finding
You're
out.
dating my sister?
It would be so
God,
fucking
it would-
funny.
Like when Pam finds out that Michael's dating her
Yes.
mom,
Oh
but
my
he won't be that upset about
No, he
it.
won't be that upset, but the same, like, hilarious. It would be so good. And him, like, Wardle and Lucy are talking about me. Because they would be.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
Wardle's
funny.
a little bit of a gossip. I love him, but he loves to gossip. Lucy would know so much more about Strike's life. Strike would kind of hate it,
Yeah.
but it'd be good for him.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh my
Mhm.
God.
I hate how much I like this idea.
I know. It's so good, right? It consumed my I
So
didn't
good.
sleep when I was doing these notes because I was like,
You didn't
suddenly I had them in my
sleep.
head and I had to go reread every scene with each of them and be like,
Oh
with their
my
personality
gosh.
mesh. And I'm like, I think
you
it would. And
think?
I'm like, oh my God, she's setting up parallels. I didn't get much sleep. I was they're in my head
Mind
now.
blown.
Yeah.
boyishly handsome. She's tiny and blonde. I think it's
And
cute.
I think April left Wardle because
yeah.
his behavior was kind of immature, underappreciated. You know,
Yeah.
it kind of sounds like Greg. And so
He learned. Yeah, but he already,
he has learned, and he would say, I see everything I did wrong.
And I couldn't help wondering if the thing about being the surrogate parent for his nieces, and I'm wondering if April was pissed about him spending a lot of time doing that.
That would be awful. I would hate that.
Right? Because
I would
like,
be really
if she
mad
left
at
him because
April.
of that.
Seems like he's a good dad and a good uncle.
He does seem like a really good dad and a good
Yeah.
uncle. And I'm wondering if he was ready to be like more stable and a bit more conforming. And she was still doing the burlesque and the blue hair and wild crowd, and she didn't want to settle down as much.
We'll see. Yeah.
So excited we're going to get more Wardle.
Don't hate
Yes. Strike's happiness at the thought of being able to offer Robin a loan to help her buy a new Land Rover is so sweet. What a great note to end this chapter on, right?
I know I sound like a broken record. It's all tied together. This example of a happy marriage and a home. The Land Rover is the correct Hallow. It's the one that is passed down from father to son. And in this case, that is a happy, healthy marriage passed down from Ted to Strike. That example. Then Strike and Robin can be that to Jack, maybe. Or, well, now Wardle and Lucy could be that to Jack.
Yeah, they can all be that to Jack. Oh my God. Jack would like Wardle. Strike's still his favorite.
Hey, man, it takes a village.
But I also just love how much excitement Strike gets from the idea of being able to gift someone that he loves something that she loves and needs.
Yeah.
Because I totally just relate to that love language, and I love reading Strike doing it.
It's his
so
love
cute.
language, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What are we doing next time?
Next time, we're doing chapters 45 through 47. And in those chapters, Robin interviews Sophia Medina's friend Gretchen. Strike and Robin discuss her findings. And we also see Kim again and see some pictures of the vault body.
The vault body.
The vault body.
I would rather see pictures of the body than Kim.
That'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy what you've heard, don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr at the SE Files Pod. You can also contact us on our website at thesefilespod.com or email us directly at sefilespodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for listening, and we hope to catch you next time for another episode of the Strike and Ellicott Files.